Hi everyone, thanks for joining us here at Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football. The Netherlands are qualified for Euro 2024. We're of course delighted by that news. We expected it, but a 1-0 win over the Republic of Ireland has guaranteed it, rubber stamped it with a game to spare. Mike's here, Abdul's here, I'm Michael as well, and I enjoyed parts of that. I enjoyed parts of it. To be fair, I don't think it was. I saw some comments in Dutch, you see, that were really negative about Koeman again and the team. But a win's a win, and the Netherlands could and should have scored more. Of course, if you enjoy what we do here, do give these live streams a like and comment along. We always enjoy getting your comments on screen throughout the show, so do that. If you're not watching live, get them in the comment section, and we'll reply to you. Abdul, do you want to kick us off? Did you enjoy
Yes,
that? And we've made it.
yeah, finally we made it, especially after the bad start, the campaign. We all remember how we lost 4-0 to France and how lousy the team was. And the poor win after that against Gibraltar, and nobody was happy with that win with the 3-0. But then the team started improving a match after a match. And of course, we achieved what we needed to achieve. We won. That's what matters. There are so many things to talk about tonight, of course, but now we can just enjoy winning before we discuss other things about the match. So, congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, Mike, how pleased are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if at the start, when the draw was made, if you said to me the Netherlands would qualify with one game to spare, I'd have taken it. I'd have bitten your hand off. I'd have said, yeah, I'm happy with that. And that's what's happened. We've still got one game to play, and the Netherlands are comfortably qualified. The only two games they've lost against, World Cup finalist France. So you can't say it's been a bad campaign. Yeah, the football's not been great at sometimes. Tonight it wasn't great at some points. It was good at some points, but you also have a lot of injuries out, so you got to take everything into context. You see the players that are out on the pitch. So I'm happy that we've qualified. There's stuff obviously to work on. The game tonight wasn't perfect, wasn't great, but there was good moments, and a win's a win. There would have been nerves in the squad to get us over the line, and now they can just go and enjoy playing against Gibraltar and finish it off with some goals.
Should we start with the context of it then? The big news is that the Netherlands have officially qualified. If you had said the Netherlands finished second, their only defeats coming against France, you'd understand all of this. You'd be positive about it going into the qualifying campaign. And yet sitting on the other side, I don't feel like I'm feeling too negative about it, but I know some people are, and they're quite critical of what they're seeing, critical of Koeman, like I said. And yet, had you looked at those results, just the results, you'd be like, oh, great, they've done it. Republic of Ireland didn't end up being the test that we thought it might have been. Greece were a good team, but ultimately a bit too mediocre to really cause the Netherlands lots of problems. And then France just being out and above the rest, and they may well be that going into the Euro competition itself, that they go in as a favourites. Them and England only beat Malta 2-0 the other night. So there are people being critical of their own national teams, and you hear them say, oh, they're not scored enough, not playing well enough. But the Netherlands sit in that category too, where people are critical. But let's look at the qualifying campaign as a whole, and it's pretty good one because of the results that have come in.
We had good results, and not to forget about the injuries. We had so many
Exactly.
injuries. You're talking about maybe 12 or 13 players. They were injured. Some players were injured before the selection. Some players were injured during the selection of Koeman to the team. So we played like with a B team, if you think about it. No Frankie de Jong, no. I can name you so many players. I mean, they were missing tonight. And the match against France, where we lost 2-1 as well. The match against Greece as well, where we won 1-0. I know the matches were very tight. But again, Greece is not really a mediocre team. They gave France a very hard time the first time they played. They only lost 1-0 by a penalty, while we managed to beat Greece 4-0 when the team was fully ready in the first match. So I think we did okay. We did good. We did what we needed. We won. all the matches except for the matches against France. And now we just have to look forward to Euro 2024 and fix some mistakes in the team, and hoping that many injured players will be back and we will not have any more injuries in the next few months.
Yeah, I think the main thing is you qualify for these tournaments, and there's some good teams that are going to have to go through the playoff route. So it could easily one of these results go the other way. It could have been Netherlands, clinging on to third and going to the playoffs, like teams like Croatia might have to do, and Italy might miss out. There's nations around Europe that aren't going to make it straight away, and you just need to be happy that with a game to spare, Netherlands are there. The football's not great, yes, but there's so many players missing, and they're going to come back. The football we're seeing now isn't the football that we're going to be seeing at the actual tournament. So, yeah, I think that everything has to be taken into the context of, Netherlands in recent years have struggled in qualifying campaigns. And let's just be happy to the fact that we've got there. We're there now. Koeman can then earn his keep by fixing the problems that we do have ahead of the big tournament next summer.
Yeah, agreed. The performances we're seeing at the minute, this is without some key players. And I've got a comment here that it's from a moment of truth. He's been following us for years, so we really appreciate the comment. Key points tonight: I've noticed too many periods of lethargy creeping into our games. Failure to control games, especially when Frankie is not midfield, is concerned. He said also about Koeman lacking charisma here, and I get the point, but both of those comments are quite negative, and I think that the Netherlands are about winning games in qualification campaigns like this. When it gets to the tournament, we'll be pleased again, like the World Cup, if they're just winning games, getting through rounds. And I'm not too concerned about some of the performances. The Netherlands never really looked in danger of conceding. There was that one slip from Verbrugge, which I'm sure we'll get into with the performance of the tonight itself. But they are adapting. They're playing the five at the back, which is what we were asking for. They are creating more opportunities. There does look like there's an answer midfield that once everyone's fully back fit, this is going to be a team that's amongst the favourites below the teams at just France to win this competition.
Yes, of course, when you reach the knockout stage in Euro, most of the teams are equal. Even if we play France in the knockout stage, for example, we still have a good chance to beat them. In the knockout stages, all the teams are having pretty much the same chance. Maybe one team is higher than the other, so it's not really a big deal. We just have to fix some mistakes. I think we have a very serious finishing problem. Today we had 19 shots, scoring only one goal. This is a very big problem, and we have been talking about this for a long time now. We don't have a finisher. Even the players we missed, like Depay or Broby or whoever, we don't have a finisher. This could be our main problem. Other than that, I think most of the things are going well. The guy who was talking about Frankie, I think one of the comments, Frankie is a world-class player, and you don't really have so many world-class players nowadays. And it's very difficult to find any other player who can take his position. So I really hope that he really gets well soon, and I really hope he recovers and we see him again with Oranje.
Yeah, so he's back after this international break, isn't he? Onto the game itself tonight, then. A few comments. 3 points were qualified, but wasteful and slow in the build-up. I do agree with that. Need to move faster. Miss Blixen days. And then we've got come here. Think played well until about 50 minutes, but Schouten did great. I agree. Chabi should relax and goals will come. AJ Nick says Holland dominated, but finishing was a problem. He also thought that De Vrij looked great. Yeah, the depth at centre back is brilliant, isn't it? Someone backed up what we were saying earlier in the show. Can't wait till the injuries are back. We'll be bulletproof then. He also said that we'll miss Memphis. Yeah, but great to have him back. So he says Dumfries wasted many crucial passes and crosses. Yeah, it was a bit more wasteful tonight, but I think some of the finishing didn't really help Dumfries. He did set the balls up, I think. Hoping to see Delinga. Weghorst had a great game, deserve a 90 minutes. I agree. Hartman's proven defensively that he is just left-sided Dumfries. Nothing to write home about. Ooh, okay. Some individual comments there. Be interested to hear, Mike, Abdul, your thoughts in a minute. De Vrij is so underestimated. Deserves a starting lineup. Xavi just needs to chill, innit? He's always got this stress face look about him. It's when he misses a chance in particular. Ada says, we all need a proper number 9. Chris says, don't ignore De Vrij, should be regular. Yeah, I think that too.
Yes.
He's overlooked so often. Another comment from Moment of Truth. A moment, it's what's lacking, the synchronicity. Okay, well, yeah, we need some consistency, don't we, back with players on the pitch, and then that rhythm will come. Can't play Weghorst in 90 minutes. Heavy touches by him. Chabi and Gakpo not clicking. Okay. Let's have one more. A comment about Blint. A positive comment about Blint in our comments. Whoa. I did think he had 1 or 2 sloppy moments, but he did all right, didn't he, Blint? Well, where do we start there then, boys? Who do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think we'll start with Blint there. I think that he did have a couple of very poor moments. I don't think out of the whole defense, I think the defense was very solid today. I think the only one you could say that wasn't solid was Daley Blind, because there's a few moments where he took the ball forward, it got nicked off of him. I think there's one where I don't know who the Irish player is, so sorry for no respecting who that was, but there was like a race on. The guy just ran past Daley Blind. Daley Blind tried to get back and then fell over, and then the guy got through. So I think that you can say Daley Blind was solid for most of the game, but if there was anyone that was going to make a mistake in that defense, it was him. And I don't think he proved himself like Stefan de Vrij did. And de Vrij now, for me, should be a starter, whereas I'll take Daley Blind out straight away.
We know that Blint's going to be that backup option, though. He will be taken to the Euros for experience, a good passer, because he can play in 2 or 3 different positions. And I think the only way he will get into the team is if something happens to Hartman, though there are better left backs than Blint after Hartman, or he'll get in at centre back, but there will be a ton of different options at centre back too. But you just know that he'll be taken as well, in addition to everyone else. Overall, I was okay with the back 5. Hartman didn't have his best game because we've seen him play better, so we've got that to compare against now. Dumfries did okay. It was really lively. Not too many problems really with his performance. For me personally, thought that Van Dijk and De Vrij looked very, very good.
Yeah, Van Dijk's back to his best. I think we can safely say that he was just dominant. Everything that came near him, he was dominating it. And De Vrij I've not seen De Vrij play like that, but just the fact that any single time he got the ball in the first half, he was just taking it forward, dribbling past players, making defense, splitting passes. He set up the first goal. There's another one where he played it over the ball to the top that set somebody in on goal. I didn't know he really had that in his locker, but yeah, for me, if you're going forward at the Euros now, my perfect centre backs would be Van Dijk, Ake, and now De Vrij on the right hand side. That's how good he was today.
It just surprises me that Koeman kept selecting Geertruida instead of De Vrij. I was surprised by De Vrij's level, really. I haven't been watching him much with Inter Milan, but I can tell that, he developed a lot in the Italian league. Today, he was amazing. For me, he was really man of the match with Weghorst. I mean, it's between him and Weghorst. And speaking about Weghorst, of course, my apologies if he's watching this, or if he watches us, really. He was amazing today. He was not only because of the goal he scored, he deserved to play the 90 minutes. He was fighting the entire match, made very, very crucial and important passes as well. So, in my opinion, he was man of the match alongside with De Vrij, really.
Yeah, I really like Weghorst. I don't have too many issues because he held the ball well. His passes were getting, they were always put in the right areas when he was trying to lay the ball off to people. He scored a great goal, of course. Buried it. Then he had a couple more that think he was a bit unlucky with. I felt overall like the performance was just unfortunate. If the Netherlands win 3 or 4-0 tonight because they've buried a couple more chances, like this conversation, the positivity is just, it's different, isn't it? But because they didn't go in the back of the net, that's it. You know, they hit the post. They've had a couple good saves and they got the Irish goalkeeper. Yes, they were wasteful though too. And considering this wasn't their best team, I'm pretty happy because as long as in the right positions and they're on target, fine, because it means they're almost there.
Yes.
The thing I like the most about Weghorst tonight was in the first half when he wasn't getting the ball or moves were breaking down. He was screaming at his teammates. There's one point where he was absolutely going mental at Xavi Simons for not passing the ball, and that even went into half time because at half time you could see he was furious at half time at the break. He was having words with Van Dijk as well, and it must have been about the fact that the chances that were getting wasted by Gakpo and Simons up front. So I like that. I like somebody that's that passionate that'll get into his players' faces and tell them that, give me the ball. Like, you're doing it wrong, because that's what they need. You can't have. I think Koeman's made, the comments in the past that they're all too nice to each other. You need that person who's going to get them riled up and make sure it's perfection all the time. And that's what I really like about Weghorst is he's not afraid to tell his teammates that, that's not good enough.
He's scored in his past 3 Bundesliga games too, hasn't he? Which is good timing for him. And I know that he hasn't been the most consistent in a Netherlands jersey, but I've liked some of his performance over the past, how long would it have been now? I mean, even the World Cup, he had his moments, right? We can remember really, really well.
Of course.
He's had a couple of bad games thrown in there, but this isn't like this is a one-off tonight. I do think he's been okay, given the lack of options. Yes, we could have had Dillinger in there. Could we have thrown Brobby in there? I'm not so sure. But Weghorst has taken his chance. He scored a few goals for the Netherlands. And he is the number 2 option, isn't he, for the striker berth when it gets to the competition. Memphis should be coming back and taking that position back from Weghorst. But we know that we've got someone who isn't a really able deputy. You wouldn't want to put it like that. But you know that he's had a few good games. He'll give his all. And he's a target man. And if he's being heavily marked, then that's great because it creates extra space for players around him. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, we really need to organize the way we attack. Some players are slow, some players are helpless, some players are in a rush, like Simons, for example. Simons was completely in a rush. He desperately needs to score a goal. I think this will help him a lot. So I really hope he plays against Gibraltar, where he can, hopefully, he can score his first international goal. Gakpo today, I was really surprised of his performance. I was expecting much better from him, but there were so many moments he could have done better with the ball, and he did not really. That's why I'm saying we need to organize the team up front. This is the problem we are having now. Not only having a finisher, but having a good trio up front. If we're gonna play 3-4-3 or 5-3-2, we need to have 2 good attackers up front. I don't know if when Depay is back, if the team is going to get better. I have no idea, but I would love to see Dallinga playing. I want to see some fresh legs. Maybe that will give us some chance, and maybe that will change something.
Let's have a look at some of the comments again. Since we've talked about some individual players, people have been responding to us throughout the show, which is great. Keep them coming, everyone. One of them was on about Verbruggen. He was a heart attack today. He almost blew it. That chance was deemed offside, but was he actually offside, or am I thinking of a different one? There was one that was blown for offside, and he definitely wasn't. But I don't think this was the one. When Verbruggen spilled it, he was offside, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. It was not.
There was a deflection on the shot, though, so it makes it more tricky. Was it as bad as it first looked?
I would say so. I think if you're a top class goalkeeper, you let it through your legs. It's not great, but I think other than that, I thought he actually had a good game. I think that he was constantly getting the ball at his feet. He was getting closed down, but he never rushed anything. His passing, I thought, was always good. I thought he always found a man. I thought that he claimed a couple of crosses. I thought that apart from that one error that he made, where if it wasn't offside, it would have been a goal. I thought he was pretty good again. So I wouldn't say that he had a bad game, but
Mm.
as a goalkeeper, you need to be switched on for the whole game, and you can't make errors like letting it through your legs. But yeah, I wouldn't drop him instantly because of it. So I think he still goes on as number one for me.
It was a
Okay.
deflection, so maybe we cannot really blame him completely, you know.
I see in Mike's point though that if he is wanting to be the Netherlands number one, these things shouldn't really happen. But yeah, I felt a bit sorry for him when I saw the replay. I was like, oh, okay, I had a flick, but it wasn't like it was right in the corner.
Yeah.
I had a comment here about Gravenberch. Do you think Koeman's grudge can be healed? I think so, but it's going to be after the Euros, isn't it? When he's starting like a new team. That said, there were players called up recently, and you're like, well, Schouten just basically walked into the team, and yet Gravenberch has not been selected for a different reason. That's hypocrisy, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't think Koeman has a leg to stand on with his reasons for not picking Gravenberch. It's the same that he got called out on Dutch TV today as well about his reasons for picking Schouten, because he's basically denied the fact that it's because he's now playing at PSV that he's now in the limelight,
Yeah.
which is 100% why he's now in the national team. Because
Didn't he say it was because he's in the Champions League? And it's like, well, that's because of his move then, isn't it?
Yeah. So Koeman's not watching Bologna. It's safe to say that. And Koeman has the opinion that Bologna is a step lower than playing at PSV. You can't deny it now because it's abundantly clear by his selections and the fact that Joshua Zirkzee's not getting even a look in, even though he's doing great things in Serie A. So yeah, I think that his selection policy is flawed, and Gravenberch should be in there. I think Martin de Roon doesn't offer as much as what Gravenberch would, but Martin de Roon has the experience of being in the squad, so he keeps getting picked. So yeah, we'll see what happens in March when there's some friendlies, and then he can rotate. And if Gravenberch isn't there and he's still playing for Liverpool, you know that it's personal and it's not down to ability.
And Mark's comment is saying, I love Dumfries, but still think he can go down to the corner and cross it more often than always passing it back. I don't floor his effort though, and I do really like Dumfries. I still don't think his play should be lost. Then there's a one about Reinders from Mark as well. Really like Reinders' energy, moving up. A negative one here about being toothless attack. Should have brought in Delinger and Stengs. How about this one then from John? Anyone think 4-3-3 will be infinitely better? I think there are some people that have commented back to that, but I'm not. I don't think so. I think this Gibraltar maybe, but against any other half decent team, no, this is the way forward.
Well, I was expecting Koeman to switch to 4-3-3 maybe in the second half, but because the second goal didn't really come, so he did not want to risk it. So I'd rather to stay with 5-3-2. I think the team is adapting to that. You know, we are playing better with it. Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think that as much as it's 5-3-2, a lot of the time it is 3-4-3. There's a few attacks where Dumfries was basically a striker. He was up there, on the edge of the box half the time, so you can't really call it a standard 5-3-2 the whole time because Dumfries isn't sitting back and Hartman's not sitting back. They are getting really forward. So I think that playing 5-3-2 allows Dumfries that ability to get forward. And we saw in the last Euros how important he can be if you get space going forward. So you can't really take that away from him and the Netherlands because Dumfries getting as far forward as possible is such a threat down the right hand side that you need that, and you can't have that in a 4-3-3, especially with the wingers that we have available. There's no one in there that can play that right wing better than what Dumfries does when he gets forward, I think.
Yeah, so you're basically sacrificing that to play someone like Berghaus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's an abundance of talent, but you have to play the right formation to get the best out of it. And I like that if De Vrij can slot in there now, because he is effectively taking Timber's place, and we don't expect Timber to be back to for the Euros. He could be back like April, May, but that's not enough time, is it, to get back ready fit? So let's see how De Vrij goes going forward into the March games. Or does De Ligt come in?
De Ligt, maybe even Botman.
So many options.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yes.
But then is Daley Blind going to take the place of somebody like a Botman? If Botman's back
Probably.
and Mickey van de Ven's still there, and you've got De Ligt, you've got all these players available. De Vrij is playing what he does today. If it's a shame to say, but I think Koeman, if you had a choice today between picking Daley Blind or picking Stefan De Vrij to be in the squad, he'd pick Daley Blind 9 times out of 10, even after seeing games like today, because you know it's going to happen. So yeah, you hope it doesn't, but I don't think you can argue with Daley Blind's place in the squad given the fact that what he's done this season with Girona and the fact that they're top of La Liga. But yeah, the defensive options for Netherlands are so strong at the moment. It's getting to the point now where they need to just move to the future. That's why the players like Blind need to get dropped out. Players like Martin de Roon need to get dropped out because there's better options, and it's time just to take these better options, because sticking with the same players time and time again just, for me, doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Who would you like to see come off the bench tonight then that maybe didn't get those minutes? People have been calling for De Linger in the comments.
Yeah,
but later on in the game, was that the right call? Do you think Koeman did the right thing of just shutting up shop, putting on some extra midfielders?
I was really hoping I could see De Linger and Stings maybe tonight, but unfortunately that did not happen. I would love to see them playing the next match against Gibraltar. They should get really a chance for that. I don't even recall any other players that might have a debut. Do you know any of them? I don't think so. Oh, it's only De Linger, I think, right? And
Hato.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, and Hato, yeah, and Hato. Well, Koeman should start with maybe a new 11 players next match. It's almost like a friendly, We are qualified, and we should win this match even with the second team, with the substitution line. Even if we win 3 or 2-0, it's fine as long as we try these new players. I mean, nobody's going to argue that we need to win 7 or 8-0 against Gibraltar. What matters now is not getting any injuries and winning that match, of course, and trying some new players.
Let's have some fun right now with the live comments. Can we have your score predictions against Gibraltar? Of course, France scored 14 against Gibraltar this evening, which is something definitely worth just mentioning right now. That is incredible. But I think Gibraltar had most of the game with 10 men. Netherlands only scored 3 against them early in this campaign, which is a bit embarrassing. But yeah, live comments. What's the score going to be right now? How many goals for Netherlands going to get?
No, but France won 3-0 the first match with the Gibraltar, by the way.
I've forgotten about that.
And they're a bit of a bogey team for Netherlands at the moment because they're under 21s as well. Really struggled against them both times in their Euro qualifying group. They only beat them 1-0 the other day as well. So it's sad about Gibraltar and Netherlands that we don't seem to score that many goals against them. But yeah, I think that, as Abdul said, it's basically a friendly now. And I think it's going to be interesting to see in the next couple of days if any players actually pull out the squad, any of the bigger names, if they decide that they just want to save themselves for going back to their clubs. I think that obviously Koeman wouldn't want that, but somebody like Van Dijk or Cody Gakpo is just back from an injury. Is he going to say, I might stay at home and not go? And then what Koeman does then, if he actually calls anyone into the squad for the game against Gibraltar, or just decides to go with it, with what he has at the moment. That'd be interesting to see if anyone actually wants to play that game. But I think Xavi Simons, for me, would be the one that I really hope starts and really hope he scores, just to bring out some confidence. And yeah, De Linger would be the one that I wanted to see tonight, because Daniel Malen came on, and then Daniel Malen does nothing again. Like, there's that chance where he got through on goal, and then it just got smothered instead of him trying to take it around the goalkeeper. I think that somebody like De Linger, who Koeman says has done really well in training, has really impressed him. So I don't see why you don't just give him a chance over somebody like Malen, who's just not convinced me at all when he's played for Netherlands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about the style of the way the Netherlands attacked this evening? A lot of it came through the middle. They were using a bit of Dumfries on the right side, but even then, Dumfries is quite narrow. Or you had Weghorst or Gakpo just sort of peel to the side. They were playing low balls into the box. It created a lot of chances. Do you think that was playing upon the Irish's weaknesses, given they had a back five, were trying to stretch it a little bit? What do you think this is the way forward? The Netherlands aren't putting big crosses, high crosses into the box, but they're attacking through the centre, quick counter attacks, and playing low crosses into the box.
Well, France defeated Ireland 2-0. I mean, okay, Ireland is not as same as they used to be a few years ago, but it's not really a very weak team. They could pull a surprise. They could really give you some hard times. So I don't think that was the case. I think we did play well tonight. We created so many chances. We could have scored, but again, the problem was with the finishing. When you see the chance from the midfield, you see the team playing very well, very quickly to reach the goal, but then the finishing. And I recall that chance for Reinders. That one really surprised me because he should have just taken the shot right away, but he tried to run with the ball more, although he was close to the goal. Yeah. See, this is the problem. It's not really creating or building the attack. It's the scoring, the finishing. But I disagree with the people who say Ireland was a lousy team or something. I don't think they are that bad, really.
Yeah, I think that everything is sort of they took too many touches or they tried to walk it in at times. I think that sometimes you just need to put your laces through it and take a shot. I think Xavi Simons was guilty of that a few times. I think that he had it right on the edge of the area. I was just hoping that he'd just take a shot, but then he would go right and you try Dumfries, and then Dumfries would cut in, see there's no space, go back, and then go back and try again. Sometimes you just need to shoot, and Xavi Simons does that for his club. Like some of the goals he's scoring for Leipzig from outside the box, he's shooting from anywhere. But tonight, you can see the nerves were there, and he was trying not to do the wrong thing, and he was trying to play it too clever at times, and there's instances like that. But yeah, the Reinders one where he's got it on a plate. All he needs to do is just shoot, and then for some reason he takes a touch and it breaks down. There's a few like that, just poor decision making at the last second. It's because they're not instinctive finishers. They're not. Right? There's no one in that Netherlands team who, apart from Simmons right now, is scoring a lot of goals for our clubs. So we need somebody that's a bit more lethal, and that's when Memphis hopefully will come back. And then we've been crying out it for years. We need that lethal finisher, and we just don't have it. We don't have that one. It just a Ruud van Nistelrooy. It just needs one touch, and it's in the back of the net. And Netherlands just don't have that.
Yes.
I know I asked you this before, Mike, but when is Memphis back?
So I thought it was a bit longer, but Simeone, after our last podcast, Simeone actually gave a press conference that says he's expecting them back a few weeks after the international break. So it's going to be soon. So by the time March comes along, if he doesn't have any other setbacks, he should be in the squad. He should be back, and he should be back well in time for the Euros if he can keep fit.
Brilliant. That's excellent news. I did ask some people to predict the score against Gibraltar on Tuesday. We've had a 6-0, had a 5-0, and we had a disagreement with Abdul.
Yeah,
Doesn't think that they build very fast.
Disagrees with me, but I see it this way: as long as you are reaching the goal, as you are getting very close to score, but the final finish is the problem. That means we are building the ball in a good way. We are building the attack in a good way. So,
yeah, I think the good thing is that we're creating chances. If we weren't creating chances, you'd say that's a problem. But we created a lot of chances tonight and just couldn't finish them, and it's a good thing that we're creating those chances, because if Ireland were having it so easy against us and defending really well, then that's the problem. But the problem tonight was down to the finishing of those chances.
19 shots and 1 goal.
How many on target?
And I don't know how many on target, but we had 19 shots. But I mean, if I can remember, there were so many chances that were, on the target. That one that hit the post, for example. Yeah.
Same, but they weren't like difficult saves for the keeper. A lot of them were just fired at goal rather than in the corners. And then you had Simons just frustrated with himself. Or
I think there's one that Reinders took. Yeah, I think there's one that Reinders took that the goalkeeper saved well, tipped it over. But yeah, that's the only one I really remember him having to, make a really good save.
Malen tried to dribble the goalkeeper, but he read that correctly, and he got the ball from him by the end of the half. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 shots were on target. I've just looked at it. So only 5 of those shots.
Out of 19. Wow. Says it all. Had comment about Brobby. Playing Brobby improves for that number 9 position over Weghorst, does it, do you think?
He's more effective, more dynamic, but he's not really a very good finisher. We are hoping that he will develop since he's young. With all due respect to Weghorst, today he was great, but he should not be our number 1 striker. I think you all agree with me on this. So hopefully we can find some talent here and there, Dalinga maybe, or even Broby.
Yeah, I think that Weghorst works really well if you can bring him on for like the last half an hour because of what he does. He just doesn't stop running, and you get in players' faces. I think that's what like, at the World Cup what he showed when he came off the bench against Argentina and he was able to just rile everything up. That's what he's best at. I don't want him to start games. I want him to be the one that comes on half an hour to go and create a bit of energy. But yeah, I don't know if Brobbey improves it from the start. I want to see Dalinga and I want to see Memphis back. Dominguez is somebody that's different. We don't really see him in the Netherlands because he played for Excelsior. He's gone to Toulouse. Like I don't watch Toulouse week in week out, but he scores a lot of goals in France. He scored, both games against Liverpool in Europa League. That can't be ignored. So he's got something about him, and let's just see him in action, see what he can do. Because until you give him that chance and let him sink or swim, then we're not going to know.
And I find it interesting that people called for Dalinga and Van den Bomen to both be called up. But Van den Bomen's gone to Ajax, and you think this is his chance now to be in the consideration for Koeman, the Netherlands, because he doesn't really watch any other leagues than the Eredivisie, maybe the Premier League. Going to Ajax, he's had a few good games, but hasn't done enough to get into the squad. Just Dalinga coming to that as well. Like, had he gone to a top 4 Eredivisie team and maybe not done that well, would that have proven a point?
Yeah, I think that if you said that Dalinga had scored, I think he scored like 7 to 9 goals this season. If he scored 7 to 9 goals for Feyenoord, would that instantly make him a Netherlands starter instead? It probably would. And I don't think that's right. I don't think we should shut ourselves off to players that are playing really well. It's the same with, now, not everyone's going to agree that we should be picking players from the English Championship, but if you see somebody like Somerville doing so great for Leeds and the pace that he has, what he's doing this season, and then when you see what Daniel Malin's bringing to Dortmund, yes, Dortmund are playing in a better league, but Somerville is playing with a confidence and scoring goals, whereas Malin's not. So you got to look at the players that are in form and bring them up instead of just bringing in the same names, because nothing's going to change. So I'd like to see Somerville in there because he's got the pace and everyone's don't have. Dalinga's got the finishing that they don't have. Joshua Zirkzee's got the dynamic heading, build up play, can hold it really well for Bologna as well. So he's got to watch all the leagues and he's got to pick the players that are playing well instead of just ones that he knows are doing all right in the Eredivisie.
We've had Aidan here wanting to get out early predictions for the Euros. Everyone is fit. This is so far ahead.
But I think if everybody's fit, Holland is the second best team in Europe after France, in my opinion. Really.
I love that confidence. I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Well, I've seen how Germany been playing lately. Today they lost, I think, against Turkey 3-1. Italy is struggling. Spain is not really as good as before. Maybe it's only France and maybe England. I haven't been watching England really.
Now, England look strong, but of course not playing at their best just right now. But they have the quality, and you know how hungry they'll be when it comes to a tournament.
Yeah. But it's good that we will avoid Italy because most likely they will be in part 3, by the way. Now, and there are no tough teams in part 2. So most likely we will only have one strong team in the group, from part 1.
Yeah, Denmark could be in part 2. There are some tough teams possibly in there, but the Netherlands would be getting through a group no matter what, because if they can finish top 2 and get through, or be a best place, third place team, which you don't expect.
Well, I didn't mean tough teams. I was talking about like world class team, like Spain, France, these teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree that France are for me the favourites. You're never going to get me saying that England are good. I can't do that. Born and raised in Scotland. I can't praise England, so I'm going to say them. And I think Netherlands always play well against England, except for obviously Euro '96, and we'll forget about that one. But think recently, I think Netherlands have had quite a good, decent record against them, especially when you go back to the Nations League under Koeman. But yeah, other than that, Spain are bringing all these youngsters in. You don't really know how they'll handle a tournament. Germany just look like a shadow of what their former selves are. Same with Italy. And then who else is it? Belgium, same again.
They're not very strong now.
They've lost it. Croatia, this will probably be the final hurrah for their Modric. So they're always going to be decent, but not probably as great if they do actually make it, because they might not even make it. So yeah, and then you've got teams like Switzerland and
Portugal
again. They've got good players, but then if they keep playing Ronaldo because it's the Ronaldo team, then I think that's a weakness for them. For me, and then who else is there? To be fair, that's really going to challenge to win it. Not many.
We'll have to see how we feel come a tournament, and I'm sure we'll do lots more coverage on Football-Oranje for that. Without us doing a match preview for the Gibraltar game, then, what things do you expect to see in this game? Do you think Koeman's going to go 4-3-3? Will we actually see some different players? And just how relaxed will they be? And can they score loads of goals, or will it be a bit frustrating like tonight, a bit frustrating like the 3-0 we had in at home?
Well, I think Koeman is going to rest some players since the mission is done now, that the job is completed. And he might really think of not risking any important players in the team. So maybe Van Dijk will not start that much. And maybe, I don't know if Gakpo is going to start. But in my opinion, he should just let some new players. Hato, maybe Dallinga, Stings. We see how they will play. If they can score, if they can have better rhythm up front, Dallinga, Stings, and Simmons, for example. I'm expecting some changes in that match, really, and I'm not really expecting a party. I'm not expecting the team to play at its best. Maybe winning 3-4-0 and then just kill the match.
Yeah, I think there's going to be changes. I don't think he's going to go out and play full strength. I'll be surprised if he does. Maybe he will, because he want this team to show that they can score goals after tonight. Maybe he will pick with the same 11. I do expect him to stick with the same formation. I think he will, because you want the wing backs to push forward and be in the front. So I think he will stick with the same formation, but maybe just a few personnel changes going forward. And I really hope that, for me, it'd be the perfect match if Simmons scores a couple of goals and Dallinga gets his debut, and then we can go away from this international break quite happy.
Yeah, pretty fair. This comment, I don't want to say I agree with it, but I'm like just going to put this in front of you two, having just heard what you've had to say. We couldn't even beat Croatia very recently. Let's be a bit more humble on how good we are. We live in the Netherlands, and people are too arrogant sometimes. Your thoughts on this comment?
Well, it's okay, Mike. Go ahead if you want to talk.
I think that was one of Koeman's. We can say it's one of Koeman's first games in charge. Was it a full strength Netherlands? Maybe close to it. I think if you put the best Netherlands squad and you hope that everyone's going to be back for that game, if you put the best Netherlands 11 players on the pitch against Croatia's, I think that they would beat them. Maybe that is a bit of arrogance, but I think that they would. That game against Croatia was a struggle, but that was earlier this year. A year is a long time in football, and I'd say right now Croatia are really struggling. So by the time the tournament comes around, Netherlands, I think, will be in a better spot than they will be.
Yeah, I mean the judgment over Croatia is based on what they have performed, in the qualifiers, not because I just think we are better than them or something. No. The team has declined since they reached the final of the Nations League. Their performance in the qualifier was really bad, and they are second in the group. They haven't even sealed their place yet in Euro. They still have one match. So yeah.
And another one that I'd love to just put in front of you. John says, I have never seen a good game for the Netherlands in 10 years with a 3-4-3. Agree or disagree?
No, I think in the Nations League. Oh wait, with 3-4-3, I'm trying to remember.
Well, how about the World Cup and some of the qualification games we've just seen?
Well, against the US, we played well, right?
If you go for 5-3-2, if you say
We'll call it that.
5-3-2,
Yeah.
then the best game I've ever seen in my life from the Netherlands was in a 5-3-2, because they demolished Spain with a 5-3-2 at World Cup under Van Gaal. So yeah,
So this is the
I
last
wouldn't agree
10
with
years. So wait, hang on. Do the maths.
that.
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
2014 was
it
9
is.
years ago, so I'm claiming that. So
That's a great response, because I mean that fits within that time frame. And I enjoyed some of the World Cup. I know that the United States of America weren't the toughest opponent, but like that was proof of it working there in exaggerated action, that they sat in and frustrated the Americans, and then blistering counterattacks, excellent technical football, which the Dutch are known for, and they won the game. So I'm not going to complain. I've seen games like that too.
The Euros under Frank de Boer, the group stage was all right, and that was 5-3-2. It's just when it went to the game against the Czech Republic when it all fell apart. But in the group stage, they played some good stuff, and that's when Dumfries really came to the fore, and that was because of playing in a 5-3-2. So I think there definitely has been good games, but I think what everyone expects is that everyone's play 4-3-3 and play like they did under the days of like Euro 98, 88, and play like they did when they had the run in 2010, where it's going to sweep teams aside with Schneider and the players like that. That we just don't have them anymore. And the Robins, it's a different side. They play different, but I think 5-3-2 suits this team, suits the players that we have, gives them the stability in defence, and then we can have the pace to counter attack. So I think there definitely has been good games under the three managers we've had that have played 5-3-2. So yeah,
Even the match under Czech Republic when we lost, it was the red card that changed the course of the match. Before that, we were playing good actually until Malin wasted that chance, and then we received the red card right after that chance. That killed everything. But I think we played good in Euro 2020.
Yeah, there was some frustrating moments, but there were some good times too. Another one as well is when the Netherlands beat Mexico in 2014. With that back five. Wow, what was it? Wasn't Cowter left back for that game or something? And then that it wasn't as though that every game it went super duper well in that World Cup, and they still managed to get there. You're going to have those games along the way where you've just had to scrape past the team. There have been so many more live comments that we've not been able to show on screen today. I just want to thank everyone in live comments there. And if you're not watching live, do put a comment down below. What did you think about the game this evening? A 1-0 win over Ireland, or anything else we talked about on this show? Abdul, Mike, anything else you would like to talk about on this? Well, it's turned out to be a really extended live stream.
No, just we've qualified. We can look forward to another tournament. We've got half a year to go until it starts. A lot of things to be worked out then. Hopefully, a lot of players back, and yeah, we can at least say that we can look forward to the Netherlands being that tournament in the summer. And hopefully, you never know, if you're there, you can win it. You never know. It could be the second one after Euro 88. So let's just build some confidence. Let's try and get behind the team that they have the players that can do it. So yeah, I'm just happy that we've done the business tonight. We can look forward to hopefully an easy win against Gibraltar, and then we build towards the tournament.
I'm just comparing my feelings right after we lost to France 4-0 the first match, and again with the poor win against Gibraltar, and comparing that to my feeling now. So I could say that I'm really happy for qualifying and winning. The team was improving since the 3-0 against Gibraltar. We won very important matches, beating Ireland home and away, beating Greece home and away. Many people were afraid, actually, of Greece. They looked very strong against France. The match they lost 1-0, but we managed to beat them home and away. So I think we are really doing well, and hopefully we can see this improvement also in Euro 2024.
The most pleasing thing for me is to see that the Netherlands are able to unlock the potential of players they have. It's not as though we have regrets about players not being able to play well enough in a Netherlands shirt. That there are some, like Xabi Simons, we know that he can play better, but it's not as though we don't want to see him in a Netherlands shirt again, or he should be benched or anything. We know that he's got potential. Got players like De Jong to come back. Defense will be stronger. and Memphis will be back in attack. We know that the attack won't ever be the strongest area for the Netherlands until we get some real great young players through again. So until that point, let's enjoy these gritty wins, because it will still get you the same results, and hopefully in the tournament itself, they're a bit better and they're still one of the favourites. Thanks everyone for watching, and if you did enjoy this, leave a like, subscribe to Football-Oranje on YouTube, and then head over to the website where Mike, I'm sure, will have his player ratings anytime soon. Thanks everyone for watching.